Welcome to part 2, everybody. So in this episode we're going to be continuing on from not the previous video, obviously the video before that, where we made the mould for the carbon fibre bonnet scoop. So if you remember, we'd pulled the fiberglass mould from the aluminium mould. So what we're going to be doing now is we flattened this all down. I say I flattened this all down with 1200 grit, wet and dry, just with a bowl of soapy, just soapy water, warm, so it's kind on the hands. And all we're going to be doing now is just going over it with 2000 grit. So I've just got a bit in there that's been soaking for a bit. Going over that just to make our lives easier when we come to polishing it. So 2000 grit now, and then some NW1 compound polish. I think I linked that in the last video. And then we're going to be laying up the layers of the release agent. So 2 layers of the easy lease, and then the layers of the wax. You remember it, the 4 layers. I think I'll do 4 layers, something like that, of the release wax. And then we can actually start cutting the carbon fibre and the foam core. So I'll come back to you at that stage. You'll see me doing those waxing stages now. Sanding stages are done. We've compounded it, we've got it all polished. Now we're going to start applying the easy lease first layer. So it's really simple. The sunlight is really bright today, but yeah, just apply 2 coats of that and buff it off, same, and then same with the wax. So I'll put you on time lapse. You don't need to see me doing that. And then we can start doing the exciting bit, so to speak, the cutting up the carbon, getting the material ready to lay up. The next stage, so to speak, now that you've just watched me wax that, 2 layers of easy lease, 4 layers of the wax, buffed it off. The next step is we're going to go around and put the gum tape on. I linked that in the original video. So all the way around the perimeter. And then we're going to use the cardboard template that we originally had to cut out the bagging. The bagging will be easy enough because we know the rough sort of area, but we want to leave enough in the bagging so that we can put pleats, like areas so that the bagging can go into these areas here, if that makes sense. So we're going to cut the bagging. I've only got a metre there. Lean manufacturing. I probably should have got more, but yeah. Then we're going to cut out the lantasoric. This is probably the most important because the carbon's not too essential. We can have it overlapping a little bit, but this, we need, where it sits on my bonnet, there's, I'll put a picture in the screen, but there's like a recess going all the way around. That's where I want to rivet this and seal it to, when we're fitting it. So I need to leave a recess in the lantasoric material, around the edge of, say, 7mm-ish, I think it is. So the lantasoric has to sit back. I'll probably sit it back 10mm, 7 to 10mm, something like that. So it's important that we get this right. So I'll flip over to the, I'll get this out on the table, and then we'll get the template on it and draw around it, and then get it cut out. Start laying some stuff up. I'll just show you real quick putting this gum tape on. It's really, really straightforward. So normally you just wipe around the perimeter, with some acetone on a rag. I've not got any acetone, so I only waxed up to a certain point, just so this is not going to have any trouble sticking, but is very sticky stuff. So what we do is literally just stick it around the perimeter. Skipped ahead a little bit, but I've got all the layers cut out there. So the peel ply is at the back. So we've got the vacuum bagging, then the peel ply, which is that stuff with the black chaser down it. Then first layer of carbon, then the Lantasoric 2mm, then the visual layer of carbon, so to speak. Then we've just got some extra strips that I'm going to put around the edges. Do you know where I was saying where I've got that gap where there's no Lantasoric? The bit that's actually going to attach to the car. So what we can do now is mix up the EL2, mix this up at 1 to 3. So you just weigh out the EL2 and then times it by 1.3 and divide it. Anyway, you know how to mix that. But I've got half fast and half slow. So we're going to do 50% of each. Yeah, so I'll mix that out now. I just got some cheap scales. I couldn't find my other ones, but these are just cheap scales off eBay, like. Next step, we've mixed that up. We're just gonna wipe over this once more just to make sure that there's no crap on, because anything that you get in this layer is going to show through in the final product. So we'll just go over all that. Sound. And now we're just going to brush straight onto the mould with the EL2. So that's the EL2 all over the mould. So we're going to lay the first layer of carbon on there now. So just make sure there's no shit, so to speak, like nothing that's going to show, like that piece of dog hair, bastard dog hair, on the on this side. Yeah, we're all good. So now what we're going to do is, are we the right way actually? No, we're not the right way. I've cut them to a specific way around, so to speak. And we're just going to gently go over it all and press it all down into that resin. Now these two pieces here, I'm going to cut slits in, you know, like the same as I did with the laminating, with the peel ply that goes on the top, just so we can form it down. So this is pretty crucial because you're gonna see this. So this is your final aesthetic layer, so to speak. There we go. So now I can mould that down. We've only just cut that enough. And this piece is going down to that front edge. Sorted. Next stage, that's the first carbon layer on. I'm just trimming a little bit off the sides here, just so it doesn't get caught up in the gum tape, you know, on the side. Yeah, probably wouldn't advise doing this on your dinner table, like. But yeah, as I said, next stage is the Lantasoric. So we're going to paint over all of, come on, get off. I'm going to paint over all of this layer now. Just make sure there's no strands getting stuck in the sides there. There is a bit there. Get that over there. Yeah. So paint the EL2 all over, like stipple it, you know, the same as what we did with the mould, and then we can lay the Lantasoric on. So let me get another go.
Approximately 10 hours later.
So we're 12 hours on, and it's set pretty rock hard now. So we're going to debag, get all the bagging materials off. We had the pump on. We had it on initially, just to pull the vacuum on it, and then it had no leaks or anything. So we just tapped it off there and left it at that. Seems to be all right. Well, that was not the easiest thing to pop out of the mould. It must be because of this difficult shape here, but moment of truth, what does it look like? There we go. Looks all right, that. I do say so myself. So now we've just got to trim this section out, and then obviously trim the outer shape out, and then we're going to flat it with probably some 600, and then give it a lacquer, and job's a good one. There's been a little bit of a lapse between the last bit of the video and this bit, but nevertheless, this is the bit that is all now trimmed, as we've just said on the last little snippet of the video. So we've been round. I've had it actually back at the other side of the country, you know, at the car. So we've been able to get the exact size. But I went round it with a cardboard, trimmed all around, and then sanded it, wet and dried it with some 240 grit sandpaper. So now, the stage that we're ready for, I've just got a little bit of 320, I'm just going to go over a couple of areas, just a bit of wear and dry. The next stage that we're going on to, I'll flip you around, but we've got some XCR coating resin and the activator that goes with that. So the usual, mix it out in the cup, stir it up, and then paint it on. That's it. I'll flip it around anyway and show you. This is everything that I've got sort of set up. Gloves, all important. Fucking resin goes everywhere. So yeah, we'll mix this up and then real thinly coat it on. I'm just going to go over and wipe a few areas because I've got a few greasy fingerprints and stuff here and there. That's the first layer of the XCR coating resin on this stuff. So just brush applied, you know, just with a little, with a normal, I didn't actually use these ones, but it's with this type of, you know, brush. And as you can see, it's brought up to be nice and glossy. So the thing I did notice was a few pinholes and stuff. So what I'm actually going to do is leave this for 2 hours and then come back and put another coat on. And then we'll go on to the final flat and polish. We've put the second coat on and it's been left to dry now, so it's nice and hard. The next stage from here is, as I said, flat and polish. I was just getting, instead it's set up there getting the thumbnail for the YouTube video, but yeah, we'll now polish it down with maybe 1200 or 1500, something like that, and then give it a buff up. But it's not going to look too different from what it looks now, so I'm going to say that's the finished, you know, thing, and yeah, we'll get it fitted to the car. We're going to fit to the car. I'm going to go around and mark out equal, you know, distance holes, drill through here, and then we're going to actually rivet it to the car with some like black headed rivets. But yeah, that's it's been a long process. There's a lot of stages to it, but it's quite rewarding when you've got the final product. And weight wise, I will go and grab the scales and we'll put it on the scales and see what it weighs. So it's kind of hard to balance it, but when I let go, it weighs 375 grams. You get the idea. 375 grams, so it's nice and light. It's actually lighter than the scoop that is actually on it right now, but I need to give the back a bit of a clean. Anyway, the next video we'll get this fitted to the car along with another few bits that we've got left to do, ready for brands, which is it's not this weekend, next weekend. So I hope that's been like a bit of an insight for how I make all the carbon bits, and it gives you a bit better understanding. There's plenty of videos out there, easy composites and stuff, you know, where I get all the stuff from, but I just thought a lot of people have asked, you know, for videos on how I've done the various bits and bobs, so I thought I'd just put a video together and you can see how time consuming it is now. I get quite a few people messaging as well asking, you know, can you make me this? Would it be possible to do this? And I'd like to say yes, but there's just not enough hours in the day, you know, for what I'm doing. So, but anyway, that's the end of this video. Next video will be hopefully out in the next couple of days. I've got the final little bits and bobs on the car to do. Gearbox oil cooler being the main one. That'll be the next video. So we've got that. I've got that going in. I'm going to fit that tomorrow actually. So yeah, stay tuned and take it easy. I'll catch you in a bit.